Thereafter, the loop will be merged into Maersk TP20 pendulum service with a revised rotation of Jakarta, Vang, Tao, Shanghai, Ningbo, Beijing, Panama, Canal Mobile Network, turning to Jakarta via the Suez Canal. The first sailing will be the 4,688 TEUs Maersk Kentucky on October 16th. Now, as soon as cargo demand recovers, the company says they will bring capacity back. The terminal follows the suspension of the TM's TP3 Sikils Loop, Matsing's CCX services, and unconfirmed reports that CMA-CGM was halting its Golden Gate Bridge service. Up to this point, demand for U.S. East Coast services has remained strong, fanned by the shift from congestion West Coast port and nervousness about the lack of new West Coast labor agreement, the previous one having expired in July 1st. Now, according to the Blue Alpha Capital founder John McConn's analysis of the top 10 U.S. ports, August container import for U.S. East and Gulf Coast port increased year-on-year by 12% to 1,187,095 TEUs, while volumes for West Coast ports declined 11.5% in the month to 178,844 TEUs. Moreover, August saw New York's and New Jersey's officially overtake Los Angeles as the nation's biggest container port after a 10.5% increase in volumes compared with the year before. McConn's report notes that U.S. port congestion has also shifted with the cargo to the East Coast, with a monthly average of some 110 ships at anchor on the Atlantic side compared with around 20 in West. Savannah had the highest average of 37, with New York at 25 and Houston at 24. Nonetheless, despite the congestion, freight rate for the East Coast all-weather service have been trembling in the past weeks. However, clearly, Maersk has found that operating two 4,500 TEUs Panamax vessels on pro forma 77 days round trip plus waiting time is becoming uneconomic, particularly with the scarcity of higher paying contract shipment, which needs to be supplemented with spot cargo to fill ships. The nose-diving of spot rate continues as Drewry's World's Container Index revised its record on the largest weekly fall in recent times. A 10.25% slump saw the World's Container Index at $4,014, just a tad above the psychological mark of $4,000. The index is at December 2020 levels, in line with its counterpart's Shanghai Container Freight Index. The drop this week was punctuated by the Middle East-bound trade lane, Shanghai Genoa, priced being hit by 19%, while those in Rotterdam and Los Angeles took a 10 to 13% hit. The transatlantic westbound route is the only green shoot, wherein prices are picked by 4%, mostly over the congestion issues. While the index has dipped 61% annually, it has retracted approximately 72% of its upward movement to the top from the point the pandemic hit. The next support statistically is 15% lower at around $13,400. Drewry is still predicting a negative outlook for the coming weeks. It is expected that the Chinese manufacturers would shut shop this week owing to the National Day Golden Week, and this is likely to have stirred rates down further for the next week. While contract rates are reportedly stable, there would be a lot of interesting discussions happening by the tables for renewing and signing contract for 2023 and 2024. If you just join us, you're listening to Maritime and Port News. The CMA-CGM subsidiary Container Ships has integrated the port of Hamburg into its liner service, Boateng. The intra-European liner service Boateng started in Hamburg on 23rd September with the departure of the vessel container ship the 8th. The new service is expected to increase the frequency of sailing between the port of Hamburg, Rotterdam and T-Sport and provide a direct and fast connection between Germany and the United Kingdom. The container ships announced the direct service between Germany and the UK, marketed as Duke, connecting mainland Europe and the eastern coast of UK, together with extensive rail network in Europe, offering daily train connections. This service is an ideal and sustainable route for the transport of goods to the UK. The Duke service is thus part of the Boateng liner service, which rotates between the port of Hamburg, Rotterdam, T-Sport, Helsinki, Tallinn, Hamburg. Now, according to the industry service Alpha Liner, the company uses its 850 TEU vessel container ship, the 8, and 956 TEUs vessel container ship, the 6th. Now, finally, traveling from Europe to the Baltic states and back will be much easier in the coming years. Rail Baltic, now underway, will be a turning point in European and Baltic rail travel. The 5.8 billion euros project will connect the 3 Baltic states, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, with Finland and Poland, bringing the countries closer to each other and closer to Europe. It will be the missing link in European transit network, fully integrated the Baltic state with other European countries. The project's purpose is to provide a high-speed rail connection that will link the capital cities of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania to the rest of Europe by way of Warsaw, the Polish capital. The 870 kilometers railway will begin in Tallinn and pass through Panu, Riga, before reaching the Lithuanian-Polish border. There will also be a connection to Vilnius from Kaunas. Once finished, Rail Baltica will connect several key cities, including Rotterdam, Berlin, and Warsaw. So that will be all for this morning's edition of Maritime and Port News, proudly sponsored by the Ghana Shippers Authority. They provide you with the best in oil shipping solutions. Contact them at the Shippers House in Accra. My name is Nanisi Boateng, my producer, Kwikwa Boateng. Have a great day. Minister Bokodi.
Edi Ghana, Eku Vias and Edi Vias and Super Ghana. Ghana Shippers Authority and Iswadi Hunone, Yaba one so dreadful. Ewo how be a one nemu. If you know my ira, Diasa ye, Tika Yajiwa and Fakwanso. Anyhow would whooping, Yanyada, the chain so dreadful, and no ma echo, said Yabaya Obetiasi. Yaniswadi Hunone, Yaba Sumo, near Sumo Sumpa. The Ghana Shippers Authority, Ewo Ghana Shippers House, Ridge, Accra, Gapuha Towers, Tema, NCA Building, 4th Gardens, a Chupe. Okumas, Takradi Shippers Center, Takradi, Yamusa Building, Sansuna Gumbihini, Tamale, Yawo Complaints Unit, Ewo Elibu, Paga, Aflau Border, Sansuna Kutukarium Shejinabia, and a Takutel, Takradi, Fred, 0302-666915, and I do free number 0800-300-55.
Ghana Shippers Authority, providing shipping solutions.
Do you know that 90% of the goods we consume are manufactured elsewhere and brought to us by ship? The cargo shipping industry is a key player in the world's economy, and as the world is changing, so is the shipping industry. Join me, Nanesi Boateng, from Monday to Friday at 9:30 a.m. on Omanfm as we bring to you updates on top issues in the maritime industry: the port congestion, the transit trade, the paperless port, revenue collection, awaiting times, and changing trends in global supply chain. Maritime and Port News is not just an award-winning news, it's an insightful and result-driven news. On Maritime and Port News, the importers, exporters, clearing agents, shipping line agencies, and consumers have a strong take. It's brief, precise, and a platform for all. My name is Nanesi Boateng. Join me on Maritime and Port News. Maritime and Port News, sponsored by the Ghana Shippers Authority.
If you be here 3CP, Spanish garlic mixture and then the capsules. A woman would just